Hello everyone and welcome along to What the Ruck Happened, the series where we go through each day of the Rugby World Cup, have a review of the action, give my thoughts and opinions on what I thought happened out there on the field for each match of the Rugby World Cup. Today is day 14. We take a look back on the two matches from this day of action. So put the feet up and enjoy what is coming your way. A look back at day 14 of the Rugby World Cup. The two matches taking place with the 29th and 30th games from the Rugby World Cup coming out of Pool D and Pool A. Canada up against Romania from Leicester City Stadium, and of course Fiji playing Uruguay from MK Dons Stadium MK, they call that one. A great little stadium that's breaking records match by match of attendances as well, which is always fantastic to see the fans out there and support. So we're going to kick this one off with a look at the Canadian versus the Romanians match. This match, I thought, had the prospect to be an absolute stunner, but I did think that Canada were the better looking side in the build-up to this game. Their performances against the likes of Italy as well, and the fact that they almost beat them, they knew how to score tries, they performed quite well in the build-up to this, and compared to Romania, I think they looked better in their matches against the higher-ranked sides. And the Canadians started like they've done for most of their Rugby World Cup. They attacked, and they attacked well, and they made good inroads instantly into the Romanian defence, and they were having a good portion of the opening stanza on their side. They were really risking it all too, taking their own taps inside their own 22 and looking to run the ball the length of the field. One man leading the charge, as we've seen from these little sides that have that marquee player. You know, the Georgians have Gurgodza, the Canadians, of course, they have DTH van der Merwe. He was the one leading the way in the attack, involved in everything, so much around the field, more than just sitting on his wing and waiting for the play to come from him. Romania were being pulled up quite a lot for high shots of the game, and it was a penalty, clearly, which opened up the scoring to the Canadians, putting them up 3-0 over Romania pretty early on, 10 minutes into the game. Missed an early attempt as well, but that was the first scoring point of the game. It was just 9 minutes later when we saw our first yellow card of the match, which went to the Romanian fullback Furcu, who took out the man in the air, chasing a kick through, a dangerous tackle, and like we've seen in others where the players have been sent off, but the tackle didn't look that bad as the player landed quite comfortably. This one, a stark contrast, and the player landed quite awkwardly, and it could have been a very, very dangerous tackle to be made. The penalties after that were flying everywhere as well. Both teams giving away massive penalties every which way you look, and it was just one team going forward, giving away a penalty. Now the other team would come back the other way, give away a penalty. It was end-to-end, but not in the good, expansive way that people like to watch. The Canadians, though, they were missing quite a lot of opportunities to put points on the board. Missing kicks was the main way they were doing it, and not taking their chances on attack, but the shots at goal were really starting to hurt them, as they could have put together a nice little lead by this stage. They were dominating possession, but it was just the mistakes letting them down to finish and get some big points on the board before half-time. They did, however, finally get the first try in the match, and it went to the man we mentioned just before, DTH van der Merwe. Oh, he is so strong, he's so elusive, he's so hard to stop. They gave it some width. He's just too strong. He's such a powerful runner. He just gets on the outside of his man, and he's impossibly hard to put down. He has to be, I think, easily one of the best players coming out of this World Cup from the minnow sides. There's no question about that. He's been fantastic all World Cup, and he got the try that put the Canadians out to an 8-0 lead. The conversion was unsuccessful to the van der Merwe try, but the first half, 8-0 to Canada, but all one-sided, 65% possession and 67% territory, both going the way of the Canadian side. It was the lowest scoring first half in the Rugby World Cup 2015. So that was an indication of the way this match was going, and for the first time as well, we had rain at a Rugby World Cup match. I don't think I've seen any rain in any of the matches quite yet. Not decent rain that we've seen in this game, where it did actually have an impact on the match. The Canadians continued to press and they continued to gain chances, but one was finally taken, and it went to Jeff Hassler, the winger. Where has this man been? I'm unsure whether he's been injured or just not selected, but man, he had a massive impact on this match. He was huge. His running, just like Van der Merwe, just so strong, just so hard to stop, and his stepping and acceleration was huge for the Canadians. As with him on one side, Van der Merwe on the other, they look to have two really good wingers for the Canadian side. It was a spectacular try. He just broke about 100,000 tackles, big run, a long way out, just kept dodging players, kept breaking tackles, kept eluding the defensive line, and eventually got the bus straight through and was gone in for the try. It was a brilliant little try. How many players? 5 or 6? Did he beat to go all the way to the line? It was one of the best individual runs we've seen. Canada is a side that is provided with many of those, as well as we've seen DTH Van der Merwe do a bit of that running himself, taking out many players on his way to scoring tries earlier in the tournament. The conversion was made from Hirayama. He made a good impact in the second half. I think it was much improved, and his impact with the boot, especially as he started to get some kicks as well, put the score up to 15-0. That was the scoreline in the 44th minute of the second half. Just 15-0. It seemed all one-way traffic to the Canadians. But the match was far from over, and Romania were getting themselves some good attacking possessions as well. And it wasn't long before they got their first try of the match. Markovi going in through a rolling maul. The big number 8 and the captain. Another impactful and very inspirational player at the back of the scrum for another one of these minnow sides. A rolling maul. It was just well worked. Romania are a side that pride themselves on their forward play, and I think that's where they had the advantage over Canada, was in the forwards. Plays like the rolling maul. Canada trying to take it down, but it was just kept on rumbling forward, and there was nothing Canada could do but concede the try just after the 50-minute mark. That was converted as well, and Romania were back in it, 15 points to 7. That try gave the Romanians the confidence and the go-forward that they've been looking for all match long, and they got another opportunity not long after that as well. 5 metres out, a line out, big chance for the Romanians, and the Canadians were on the ropes, but they defended very well from the situation, as if they had actually learned something from earlier portions of the match. They eventually defended enough and got themselves a penalty, but there was big questions being asked about how legitimate that call was, questions about whether it should have been the Romanians who got the penalty and not the Canadians, but they did exit, and they'll take massive confidence holding the Romanians out from that really dangerous position that they were in. Both teams were really going hammer and tong at this game, trying to get what could be a decisive score in this match. If Canada got another one going into this latter part of the match, the final 20 minutes or so, it would have just about put this game to bed. The other way for Romania, a try now, and this game was all on for one and all. The mistakes, of course, was the downfall of the big opportunities being given for both sides as they went end-to-end stuff, attacking everything they had. And the Romanians, well, they know their strengths and they are sticking to them. Another rolling maul got themselves in another good position, but this time it was through the ill-discipline of the Canadians. Jeb Sinclair was given a yellow card for collapsing the maul. Now, this is something they've been warned about before and warned not to do it again, but the Romanians just had such an advantage here with the rolling maul that is just, the only way to stop it was to give away the penalty, and Sinclair was gone, and it really put this match on notice. The Romanians had a massive chance, and that massive chance was taken just a minute later. Another try to the captain, Mark Hovey. He was in for a second, and once again, another maul of a line-out. He was charging forward, getting good territory was the Romanian pack, and they earned themselves a scrum penalty. Wasn't the tidiest scrum in the world, but it was the big number 8 who made a great effort, twisting and turning, putting on the power button and charging in for an easy finish. Well, for a man of that ability, so strong and hard to stop, he made it look a lot easier than it really was for the Romanians. That put the scoreline up to 15 points to 14, and now is when the Canadians were ruining those missed chances of the penalty goals from earlier in the match. There was just 1 point between these two sides with 6 minutes on the clock. This is when composure and trusting your teammate really comes in to the fore for Canada. They needed to keep their cool. They needed to play territory and get down the other end of the field away from the potential drop goal or penalty goal attempt, but they could not do it. And in the 75th minute, they gave away a penalty from the scrum, and that was chance to Romania to get the lead back. A simple kick. It wasn't a very difficult one, but given the pressure, given what this would mean to Romania, it was probably the most difficult kick you could ever put on someone. To win a match, their first match of the World Cup, to do something this massive for Romania, the pressure would be unbelievable. But the pressure did not tell as the penalty was slotted straight through the middle of the post, and Romania led with just 4 minutes to go by 2 points over Canada. How much pressure was on that kick? A massive amount. The Romanians turned up from a 15-0 deficit at the 44th minute to come all the way back to lead 17-15 with just minutes to go on the clock. Composure, pressure, big words, big moments of the match. Canada did not have either of them, and they, as a result, did not get another chance to put this game on their side. Romania got the win they were searching for. They had the faith in their players to come back from 15-0 down to secure a famous win for their country. Just to win by 2 points, 17 unanswered points from the Romanians from 15-0 behind. Unbelievable comeback, and it just was what the World Cup is all about. One team, that just has so much to learn, so much to gain. Both of them going at each other like nothing else, and it made a fantastic matchup, exciting to watch, plenty of entertainment, but it was the Romanians who were happy, and this result did surprise me somewhat. I picked the Canadians to win this one by what I thought maybe a couple of points, a semi-easy victory. But in the end, they did lose it. They looked very poor for a good portion of that second half, and the Romanians really picked and chose when they wanted to perform here. They targeted this match, I'm sure, as their opportunity to get the victory. In the rain as well, that probably did not help the game plan of Canada, but they have gone down in a game they should have won, and they could have possibly been 2 wins from this World Cup. Instead, they'll go home with none. The second match coming in from Stadium MK was between Fiji and Uruguay. This is the forgotten sides out of Pool A, and a chance to see the best out of the Fijians, I'm sure, if they can get an opportunity to do it. Will they have enough mental strength and mental stamina to turn up for this match against the Uruguayan side, who have been equally dealt to by the bigger teams in this pool? Fiji have been unlucky. Fiji have been ill-treated by referees and the likes. They have had everything against them, to be fair, and this will be a true test of what Fijian side has come to Rugby World Cup 2015. So we'll have to see how they perform and how they get on against, again, what could be a potential banana skin. Fiji will not want to lose this match. So everyone was asking, will we see the best of Fiji in a very tough Rugby World Cup pool? the action kicked off, and right from the start, it was Fiji who dominated the early goings of the match. It took just 2 minutes of the match, and Abotia was in the corner, but the TMO come back and seen that there was actually a dropped ball, so it was dislodged. It was a knock on, but then the closer look was taken to the tackle, a no-arm tackle from the Uruguayan scrum half, Umashio, who took the man out, just kind of dived onto his side in front of the player. It was a very awkward looking and very dangerous looking tackle as well. He was sent to the sin bin. Yellow card for his tackle. No arms, no attempt at really tackling the player. He was sent to the sin bin, and there was a penalty try given to the Fijians. They kept on the pressure though, with the man in the bin for Uruguay. They piled it on, and Kinatali, the scrum half, put in another try, the second of the game, and it was a splendid finish. Blindside scrum run down the short side, and it just twinkle-toed along the touchline. How he did not go out, I don't know, but he went deep into the end goal, just trying to stay on his feet and keep his balance. It was a fantastic little piece of play by the scrum half, and Kinatali got the second try for Fiji. Uruguay got themselves on the scoreboard with their first 3 pointers, a penalty goal for Duran, getting them their first points of the match. Uruguay weren't about to roll over and let Fiji run all over them though. When they got their man back from the sin bin, it was Abudaya who got the first try for Uruguay since Rugby World Cup 2003. The first World Cup try, that is, since 2003. It was a good try too. The big man close to the line, big run up, hit the ball at massive speed, hard to stop, hard to put down. Momentum carried him all the way over the line, and Abudaya scoring the reply for Uruguay. And they looked maybe that they're going to find a way back into this match. Just after the quarter of an hour mark, 17 minutes in, it was 12 points to 10. Fiji's lead had been cut to just 2. The Fijians, though, weren't done at this point just yet. They had a scrum opportunity close to the Uruguayan line, just 5 meters out, and they demolished Uruguay's scrum, rolled straight over the top of it, drew a penalty, which resulted in a penalty try. The second penalty try of the match, and the first time in 12 years a World Cup match has seen a double to penalty tries. It was a typical 5-minute scrum penalty try, as we've seen them many times before. The dominant team moving forward, the team going backwards, can't handle the pressure, they fold up like a pack of cards, and a penalty try is given. It's a ruling of the match. It is a bit harsh on the team struggling, but that is one advantage to having scrum dominance. The Fijians pushed on even further on just before the halftime break. A try going to Nakarawa, the big second rower, putting the finishing touches on a big Nemani Nadolo try. Down the left wing he goes, breaking through tackles, outrunning his opposite backs, and then had an easy 2-on-1 situation against the fullback, and he did it easy, did it simple, put the pass away to Sekiro. Nakarawa was in for Fiji, and then at the end of the half, it looked like one team was well and truly in control of this matchup. 26 points to 10. It was Fiji who were very much in control, thanks to all the tries, the penalty tries, and Nemani Nadolo, who was looking in ominous form for the Fijians. The second half kicked off, and Fiji were making a few more mistakes than they were in the first half, and they're starting to get a bit messy in their game plan, and that allowed the Uruguayan side to get another opportunity. Now was the man who was sin-binned earlier in the first half, Umashio, who got the second try for Uruguay just after the halftime break. And once, like I said, it was the Fijian mistakes that led to the opportunity. A loose ball, it was kicked upfield, towed ahead by the defensive line. The support, though, for Uruguay was there quickly, very quickly, and it was recycled straight out the back and in the corner when the scrum half, Umashio, and the score by Uruguay that found them back looking at this match as a possible comeback. 26-15, game back on for Uruguay. Could they find the next try and put this one in their favour? But it did not happen that way at all. The Fijians kept putting the pressure on, and they eventually got another try, this time going to Kabubati just after the hour mark. That put the score out nicely, doubling the Uruguayan score 31-15 as that one was unconverted. Minutes later, just 1 minute later, Munimunivalu scored a fantastic long-range try for Fiji. The fullback on the end of some brilliant work by the Fijian players, offloading every which way, and the support was the real key to that try. There was just white jerseys of the Fijians everywhere around the field. Whenever the move looked like the tackle might be made, an offload would pop up. There was too much support. Uruguay couldn't handle it, and eventually it was the fullback Munimunivalu who got the finishing play in to score the try. He went, and by this stage the game was well and truly over. Ndolo was kicking conversions all over the shop as well, and the points was extended into the 40s following that conversion of the Munimunivalu try. Ndolo getting himself some more points. As the match went into the dying moments of the game, there was a pretty messy situation, and a situation that some of you have already said to me before that you predicted would happen in this competition, in this World Cup. There would be a red card, and that is exactly what we got. A bit of a scuffle, a bit of a fight. I don't know if you can call it a fight, just some messy, scruffy, ill-disciplined stuff from both teams, resulting in the referee having little choice but to go back to his pocket to the two main culprits who started a bit of a ruckus over a ruck. And it was, unfortunately, the scrum half, once again, Omashio, who was back in the naughty seat. His second yellow card, resulting in him getting the first red card of Rugby World Cup 2015. He was joined in the seat next to him from Campisi Matafu, who went off for his involvement as well. Both teams down to 14 men for the remainder of this match, but that did launch the game into massive attack. It was both teams, especially the Fijians, that were flying the ball everywhere. Chances were taken, offloads were out the back door. The ball was getting whipped every which way, and the attacking flair of the Fijians eventually told over the Uruguayan defence. Nemani Ndolo, possibly the big man, the big weapon of this Fijian side, finished the scoring off with his final try of the match, and for Fiji as well, getting the 78th minute, scoring his try, a set-piece play. And why wouldn't you set-piece out to Nemani Ndolo, joining more in centre field, hitting the ball on a bit of a cut, stepping back in field, too strong, too fast, too much power from Nemani Ndolo, and he scoots over for his first try of the match, but a big points haul for the winger, who did a good job with the ball on the tee as well. It was one-way traffic in the end, with the Fijians running out to a 47-15 victory for the island nation. A great win. Uruguay had their moments, had their chances, but in the end could not put a real pressure on the Fijians, and as the match wore on, it just got more and more in favour of Fiji. Some big stats to come out of this match just before the end of it as well was the Fijians running over 500 attacking metres, whereas Uruguay didn't even manage 200 attacking metres. The line breaks as well, clean breaks, went 8-2 to Fiji, and that was before Ndolo scored that last try. So, you know, the Fijians were looking at 10 clean breaks on the match. Uruguay, you recall their 2 tries, giving them their 2 chances to get on the board, but they'll be happy to get a couple of tries. They will not be pleased to have conceded so many against a team that they probably targeted as their best chance for a victory. Uruguay going down in a heap, and Fiji getting their big win from Pool A. The two teams that were really forgotten about. The Fijians World Cup is over. 1 win and 3 losses for them in their tournament so far. They go home with 5 points in the bank. 1 bonus point from them as well, getting them their points from Rugby World Cup. So that's a big match for them in Pool A. Yeah, that pool was really so focused on Australia, Wales and England. You got to feel sorry for the Fijians and the Uruguayans who are there, just like it seemed, to make up the numbers. The other match that we watched today was from Pool D, Romania and Canada. The Romanians getting the win, which put them on to 4 points. They are yet to get a bonus point as well, which means the Canadians, who are 5th, 1 place below them, they have 2 points from their 4 games. Their World Cup is over. They have not got themselves a win, but 2 bonus points shows just how well they played and how much they really did deserve to get themselves a point. That pool was pretty much all wrapped up as well. Italy will finish 3rd from that one. France and Ireland will, of course, fight out that big one this weekend. But that wraps up my time for today, guys. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Hope you enjoyed today's little What the Ruck happened. Plenty of action. It's good to see the two minnow sides, or two minnow sides meet up and really get a close match, because it's good for them to get the wins. It's good for them to get the results. And it's always good to play against all the countries, all the nations around the rugby world. Plenty of good matches coming up as well. We've had more coming up from the Wednesday, the 7th of October. Matches from Pool B and Pool C. South Africa versus USA and Namibia versus Georgia. I'm picking that to be a ripper as well. The Springboks, how will they fare in their hit out against the United States that, we've seen them lose to Japan. I think those days are gone, and I think they're going to show how good they really are in the build-up to the knockout. They've had their fright, and I think they should be happy for it, because they're only going to get better. Any complacency in that Springboks squad were well and truly destroyed following that first up loss. So that is me for today, guys. Thank you for tuning and watching. Hope you enjoyed today's little look at those 2 matches. Remember to leave what you think in the comments below and have some chat about your thoughts on the games, what you think of Canada, Romania, Fiji and Uruguay, and what you think about the upcoming matches as well. But until we meet again for some more rugby chat, some more rugby action, thank you all for tuning in and watching, and as always, take care.